Hi everyone, it's Pauline Duncan from Fun Back to Basics here. I'm just getting on here tonight to talk a little bit about meal planning. Just want to wait a couple of minutes to make sure there's no one coming on that might be running a bit late. I know a couple of people have just messaged me and said they can't get here tonight, but I'd like to go ahead and do this so that people have some information about meal planning. There's lots of programs that get run by people and how to do this. I just want to make this really simple and something that is doable for the now. You can make it as complex as you want or as simple as you like. So just hold off for a couple of minutes and then we can go ahead. Hi everybody, it's Pauline Duncan here from Fun Back to Basics. I just wanted to get on here tonight and talk about helping reduce a bit of stress and overwhelm and in life, and getting a bit of balance between our learning for our children or running around, if you're not a homeschooling family and you're running around doing lots of things, and talking about someone had talked to me about, meals, they're having trouble getting the meals sorted out and what to eat and all those kinds of things. So that we talked for a while about meal planning, and it just reminded me that is a really important part of my life too, is getting on top of what's happening in the kitchen and what I get done and when I get it done. Like today I've had a major physio session because I've been in agony with my shoulder and my neck. I've got a pinched nerve. And so tonight, absolutely drained. I actually didn't have anything planned because it's payday tomorrow, and I kind of thought I'll just do a makeshift, whatever we get. So fortunately for me, there was enough bits and pieces left to make up a, what do you want to call it? Easy peasy dinner. I had boiled eggs and the kids had toasted cheese sandwiches. So I break up a lot of my meals like that based on how busy our schedule is, if we're going to be home late or we're out all day, so that when I get home, it's something like a leftover night from another night. It could be a bulk that I've made up. I often make meals up and do bulk of them, and I put them into the freezer and label them, date them, and then I've got meals I can just pull out. Sometimes it's just for us, we eat meat. So it might be a taco or a nacho mix or a pasta mix, and then I only just have to add something to that meal for that night. But the cutting up and preparing the main part of the meal, which is the meat sauce, is already completed. So I often do that with my meals. I also tend to try to do fun nights, like a monkey platter, where there's a whole heap of different things. I don't know if any of you know about the dishes with the sections in it, and then if there's a spot in there for the dip, we'll often cut up bits and pieces like cheeses and crackers, and we don't cut up the crackers. Have the crackers and the cheeses and the might be some boiled eggs in half. It could be cherry tomatoes and lots and bits and pieces, and we can just nibble on it on one of those kinds of nights. And then I'll plan my planner with roast night or a day that I'm going to be home, and I make bulk so that I can reheat that for another day. We're home a lot, so we often have cooked lunches or reheated lunches. Another day often is a slow cooker or a soup one where I do lots of it, and then I can section it off and put it into the freezer. But I often find if I make a meal, I make extra, so then I've got leftovers for lunches or leftovers to go into the freezer without even having to think about it much. It just becomes automatic. And another tip I have would be is pre-cutting stuff like salads and stuff like that. If you tend to have a lot of those kinds of foods, pre-cutting some of the ones that last a bit longer, like the cucumbers and strawberries and cherry tomatoes and stuff, and you can get them already washed and ready to go, and you put them into containers, and they have a little bit of a moisture cloth in the bottom, depending on which ones need a bit more moisture, which ones need less, which I could go into in detail if you want. Let me know and I can tell you how that works. And you already prepare them. So you, for a couple of days at least. So that's a little bit less cutting. My family, kids are very big on salad, not veggies so much. So we have a lot of that cut up already. The lettuce is already washed. Carrots, cucumbers, tomatoes, capsicums, for example, are our mains, and we have a lot of them. So we cut them up every few days. So if I'm doing that for a meal one night, cut extra for 2 or 3 days, and it's done. And I have my kids as helpers, so they have different nights of their helpers, and they can either cooking or they're prepping. So I make sure that they're getting them on board, and we'll make extra. So them, and often happens because even after dinner they want the munchies. Well, get those spare ones out of the cupboard, out of the fridge, and grab them. So, and the same with your fruit. You can pre-wash it, a lot of it ready to go, and it's just go grab it. Makes it easier. Another tip I had was that you can, if it's new to you, meal planning, then pick favourite meals. Ask everyone to say choose 2 meals that they would like this week that are favourites, so you know they're going to get eaten, and you put them in the night, whatever night. So if it's not such a busy night, but it was a favourite like lasagna, that takes ages to make, compared to, say, just putting a bit of schnitzel on with a bit of salad, if you get what I mean. So that meal could be a night that you're not so busy, or know that you're probably not going to be so exhausted, and then make extra and then freeze it and have 3 or 4 in the freezer, or 1 in the fridge ready for a meal in a couple of days' time for dinner or for lunch. So then choose maybe 1 meal that you want to focus on first. Could be dinners, could be lunches. Often dinners, because everyone's so tired at the end of the day, particularly mums are tired. So cut it up into, so if you're new to it, pick a night, if it's dinners, get everyone to have an input of what the meals would be. Or if you know the favourites, make a list of favourites for everyone, like 5 or 10 favourites, and they're your main recipes you can keep falling back on when you don't know what else to feed them. And you come back to that list, whether you write it down, you put it in a Word document, put it on the fridge, wherever you want to put it, and then you can come from that, and that's one of your resources that you've got without having to think. But I have my kids involved often and say, what do you want this week? And then I will put that in with other things, and I try to mix it up with, easy peasy meals, monkey platters, leftover night, roast night, slow cooker night. Yeah, and I often, like now, I realise I'm really empty, so I'm going to have to do some serious cooking. It's the same with your baking. You can do the same thing and make up batches of it and put it in the freezer. But for starting out, and if it's overwhelming, then you just pick 1 meal time that's your most challenged. Pick some favourites, get the kids involved in choosing some of the meals, make it in bulk when you can, freeze when you can, and get the kids involved in helping you prepare it and cook it, and maybe even clean up afterwards. There's a motto in the course that I'm doing about Whole Foods at the moment: the cook never does the dishes. In this house, a bit tricky, but it may work in your house. Another tip I said to the lady the other day was, it's really busy going shopping, and it's especially when you've got children with you all the time. So maybe even give yourself a breather and do some online shopping, just even if it's for a month or so till you get your head around things. That requires you to get a little bit organised with what you need, and hopefully you don't need to go as often, and make it shopping once a week on there. And if you have to pick up some extra bits, like when I do it, I often have to go and get extra bits like the things they can't supply, or the fruit and veg, because some of it's better to pick for yourself. But it might just give you that bit of breathing space, and you organise your meals around that. And then, especially if you're a person that drops on a regular basis to the supermarket, to get a bulk amount of your stuff done, and then you only just have to drop in every few days to get maybe some fresh produce or something, it might help you out. So it may or may not work. What was the other tip I was going to give you? Oh, I have this thing called, and I don't know if it's called my KISS principle. It's called keep it simple, silly. And that's what I'm asking you to do to help stop your overwhelm and reduce your stress, is to keep the meals simple even. Don't need to keep doing lots of complex meals. Make them simple meals. and then make extra of them if you can. Even if like it's a schnitzel, the same lady I was talking to, they have schnitzels, one of their favourites. So if you prepare a few extras, either ready to cook again or cooked, and it only has to be reheated in the pan, just saves you a lot of time. And that's what I'm about, is trying to reduce the amount of time having to do my meals. And I often prepare it the day before payday so then I can get it all organised and I don't have to think about it again. So when you're having a tired day or sick, like for me, the kids will have stuff from the freezer that they can do themselves, or they can cook themselves an egg on toast or a toasty like we had tonight, things like that, but just help you get through. So I'm hoping some of these tips resonate with you, because these are the things that I find really useful and I've learned along the way about how to make life simple. I'll show you in a minute, I'll share it now if you like, actually, how I set up my meal plans now. I'll just share the screen with you and I'll show you. I usually plan my meals for around payday. So I get my pension every second Thursday. So I try to plan my meals. So I've gone from lots of different things to now I try to plan breakfasts, my snacks, and or baking and all these things, like treats even, trying to do different things or a new recipe. Sometimes I used to have a new recipe. Try out a new recipe. Excuse me. And I would pop that in too. So if I want to bake things, I would put it in when I'm thinking of baking. So all the thinking's gone. I don't have to think once I've set this up and I've planned it. So I keep in mind busy nights. I keep in mind when I'm out. I keep in what I've already got in the freezer, what I can make into extra. Sometimes a meal will last, like if we do tacos is one of my favorites. It'll last a couple of nights and I put some in the freezer. So I make big batches of that, for example. And then, bear with me while I scroll down. And then I started playing with colour so I could make it easier to see. And then I've changed it again. So I play with it often. And this is just in a Word doc that I set up. But there are a lot of things you can buy that have meal planners written, and you can make up plans with that. So my friend of mine just has a chalkboard and just writes it up every week once she's planned it. And that was just for dinners, for example. But because we're here for lunch a lot, and we like warm meals, I like to sort of have a bit of an idea what we're going to have again, so I don't have to think about it. Or if we're going out, then I'll plan different things for that. And then down now, what I'm doing at the moment, I'll go a bit further down, sorry guys. I even set up my shopping list like this. So they're our regular things that we often get, so then I can just tick them off or cut and paste them out if I don't need them that week. So that becomes my shopping list. And I do know also there are some menus that you can get that I've already got that with the other programs, but this is just mine because a lot of that stuff we don't have. And then down here, see, now I'm trying to play with the colour because I like colour and it's easier to see. So now I'm starting to do the slow cooker nights, the roast nights. Over here is the leftover nights. And I plan for the 2 weeks. So I've condensed it now into smaller amounts because I'm not really focusing on breakfast because my kids aren't eating breakfast at the moment. So then I'll do lunches, dinners, and baking, all the different things that we're trying to, like here I've written ideas for snacks and brekkies, trying to come up with new ideas that my kids will eat, and especially when they're starving, hungry teenagers and they seem to be always hungry. So this is what you can do further down the track, or if you want to do it now, you could. But I'm saying just choose a meal of a day every day for that week, or even just from Monday to Friday when life's crazy and you're exhausted at the end of the day. Often weekends there is a little bit more flexibility. Or one night's a takeaway night. You could pop that in even if it was nighttime. and just plan it to suit your family and get people involved in the family. Sometimes I even do this so I don't have to go back and find the recipe. If it's a simple recipe, and I'll put the ingredients in so I don't have to go back. Yeah, see here, like I've got out, and often I'll write down what I'm going to have when we're out, but I don't always, as you can see, I don't always do it. But that's basically how I do mine now. I do it in Word. I don't go by the pads because often I have to rewrite, scribble all the time. And then I'll often either tick it or make a comment about it to know that it was a success, or it didn't go so well, or another idea I might have. Also, like if we've been out like horse riding, it's Saturday lunch, so we'll often have a chicken and chips, and might even put a bit of salad on if we've got some in the fridge when we get home. So it's a quick, easy meal, but it's not so hard to get and doesn't require a lot of effort. And I like to put effort in when I've got the time, but if I'm not and I'm overwhelmed with lots of things to do and with everybody's life's full, that's what I tend to do. But yeah, so that's kind of how mine looks. But then, there's lots of ways of doing it. And I know some people do it over a month and they plan it right out so they don't have to redo it, and they often just revisit the same thing. But I've tried to do that, and I find that we get a little bit tired of the same things happening, or I kind of find also that it's I don't know, I just find 2 weeks just works better with my budget and my way of working. And I often find planning for a month can be a bit tricky. But it might work for you too. But my main aim for you tonight is to show you, just stop the share for a sec, is to show you and to say to you, just start off on baby steps, small steps. That's what I'm about, and make it fun. So if it becomes too much, then it's not fun. So just like work on just choosing one meal time that could be the most challenging, which often dinner is because it's tiring. Take time to sit down and plan it. You could plan it over the dinner table while you're having dinner together and get some people's ideas. Write it on a piece of paper. Don't have to do it in Word. Just write it on a piece of paper. Get the ingredients. They'll last the week. And think about whether you bulk or do batches, because really it saves me a hell of a lot of time, a lot of stress. Like if you're a risotto family, then you make quite a bit of that. I'm sure you've got ideas of meals that you could do bulk and batches, and meal prep a bit so there's not as much meal prepping. If you spend another 5 minutes cutting up exactly the same food that you're already cutting up, but you're going to be using it another day or another night or for snacks, then that saves you a hell of a lot of time. And then, you will find that it will get easier the more you do it, and then you'll be able to increase it out to more meals, and then you'll have more range, and you'll find different things that work. Just want to check if there was anything else I wanted to add to give you any further tips. Yeah, I think that's all. But if you want any more tips about any of this and any ideas, I'm happy to let me know in the replay when you watch the replay. And if you want to know anything more about the fridge storage, I'll see if I can find a template. If you're interested more about how you store things into the fridge so they don't go off as easy and they're prepped, ready to go, cut and sliced and all that, all good. But mainly, I don't know if I can show you because I'm all hooked up here tonight. I don't know if you can see. Nope, that's not going to work. I have these containers, just white containers, clear containers without clips on the end. I'll just take this off. Bear with me, sorry. Like this. And you can just get flat ones like that haven't got a top on it. They're called Systema, but you can get something like that has a clip, and you just put a bit of damp cloth in the bottom. And depending on the vegetable, the fruit, mainly vegetables, sorry, not fruit, strawberries you could pre-wash and put them into the container and keep it longer. So Yeah. And I had asked people to pop in a favourite recipe when they came on tonight or in the comments. Since I'm here, I would like to share my one. I'll take a photo shoot of it, and when I do the replay, and I'll have a copy of it. But this is a little recipe even a friend of mine gave. I don't know if you can read that, but it's clean eating taco seasoning, because we're trying to make our own. We were trying to make our own and not use the packets. So it's all just different spices: paprika, cumin, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, coriander, chili flakes, black pepper, and salt. And all you do is brown your meat, add this, and let it simmer on that for a while. And then I add a bit of water to make it more softer and runnier. Then I've got the wraps and the salad. That's it. That's tea. So what I do now, I actually make enough to do 4 meals, for example. Put them in the freezer. But when I'm putting the spice mixes together, I have a glass jar with a lid, and I make multiple amounts of that, for example. So it's called a premix of taco seasoning. So I have it already mixed up, ready to go, so I don't even have to measure it out every time I make taco mix. So, for example, if I've run out of a supply in the freezer and I'm going to make it fresh, I've already got a thing of premix already in there of the quantities that I need. So I don't have to every time make up the quantities, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 herbs and spices that goes into the one mix. And instead of doing that separately every time, this just, and I tell you, it saves me so much time. So premixes is another thing. So, for example, if you have a muesli mix or something that you guys really like, instead of making it just the once, you make heaps and you put it in a big glass jar or Tupperware jar, whatever you've got, and store it. And it's ready to go. And all week or for the next few weeks, you've got your mix. So that's another tip. But I will pop this in because it's really simple. And all you do is cook the meat, chuck in the spices. As I said, I add a little bit of water to make it a bit saucy, and then put it together. But I will take a photo of it, and when I put this replay up tomorrow, I will. This is my favorite, one of our favorites. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Easy, healthy. What's it say? Prep time is 2 minutes, and truly it's, and if you've already got the premix of the spice, even easier. And it really doesn't take very long to cook, of course. So while it's cooking, you can be cutting up your salad, unless you've already pre-made your salad and had them in your containers. I'll chop up a little bit smaller. It's done. That's tea. And it's yummy, and it fills you, and everyone likes it in this house anyway. Anyway, I will love and leave you. And please watch the replay if you're overwhelmed and struggling with all this meal planning stuff. And hopefully some of these tips are helping you on your homeschooling or life journey, even if you're not schooling. Homeschooling, life is full of stuff and it's busy, and any tips we can help each other out with. So if you've got another idea, please pop it in the comments as well so other people can hear maybe something else that I haven't suggested. I didn't want to give you too many things. I probably gave you too many already. But I just want you to keep it simple. One meal, ask people in the family, just make it simple meals. Bulk it if you can, and make it simple. Plan it out so it's out of your head and it's done and dusted for the week. And you'll be amazed how happy you feel. Excuse me, that was my phone. But I'll love and leave you, and I do hope that you get some value out of this. And let me know how you go. And if you've got a simple recipe that you think would help other people, take a photo and pop it in the page or into this, if you can get it into this. I'm not sure if you can, but you might be able to put it into the comments or just attach it to the page, and even tag me so I can find a way if I can pop it in for everyone else to share. But anyway, take care, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely evening or day wherever you are, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.